It's really dark. Be mindful. What? Hey guys, how you doing? How you doing today? Well, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back. Today I'm very excited to do this video. It's about a book that is really significant for me, that has been really significant for me. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway from Susan Jeffers. The book is here, Susan Jeffers. Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. So Susan Jeffers she's an author, she's a public speaker, and she's also a psychologist. So the first publication of the book was in 1987 and it was published again in 2007. It was really important for me to read this book because at the time, I think I read it maybe 5 or 6 years ago. At the time I was afraid of a lot of things, and I felt like it was really hindering me from reaching my potential and try out my dreams and try a lot of exciting things in life. I was really paralyzed by fear. Then one day I discovered this book and I was like, okay, let's go, let's give it a try and let's see what she has to say. And I felt like it was a very, very important read for me. First of all, it was really accessible. In my case, it was really easy for me to assimilate what she was trying to say, the message she was trying to convey. You also have a couple of exercises in the book that you can follow if you want to leave this prison of fear you feel trapped in, just like I was. For a lot of people, fear is really the barrier between ourselves and our dreams. But then at some point, and mostly after reading this book, I realized that, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, because what do I have to lose, you know? I realized I had nothing to lose if I try, if I do my best, if I prepare for it, and most importantly, if I find pleasure, if I find purpose while I'm following my dreams. That makes you feel good, and that's what gives you the willingness to give more excitement to your life. It just gives you this this little sparkle in your life. I might leave my comfort zone and then I might feel a bit of discomfort, I might feel slightly uncomfortable, I might feel a bit of embarrassment, but these are normal feelings when you try something new. And I feel like, you just live once, just go for it. Is it going to impact your life positively? If the answer is yes, if you're not harming other people while following your goal, I mean, you should go for it. You can always come back from a bad choice. You can always, reassess your dreams, reassess your goals. This is actually what she's saying as well. So, just go for it. I really loved the book because I loved the tone of the author. It was, this warm tone, but also very compelling. She's like, I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes she's really firm in what she says. So I really felt comfortable reading this. I didn't feel like I was being pushed. I did not feel like she was being patronizing. I really enjoyed the tone and the scope of advice that this author had to give. The very first thing that I've learned from the author is that fear is something that everybody experiences. For some people, fear can be paralyzing. That was the case for me. Fear prevented me from reaching my potential for so many years until I decided to act on it. And that's what Susan is saying. It's about re-education. How do you handle your fear? And she believes that through re-education, it's possible to minimize the impact of fear, or at least to have a healthy relationship with fear so that it doesn't prevent you from living or reaching your goals. So the process or the journey towards overtaking your fears It's not an easy one, okay? This is not an easy journey, but this is worth it. And in the book, as I said, she gives us a lot of advice, a lot of exercises to get over our fears. The first step that Suzanne invites us to take is to reflect and to show awareness, to know ourselves and to know what our fears are. And it makes sense because the more you know yourself, the more you can, develop yourself and reach the best version of yourself. So when you know who you are, when you know what your fears are, you have a better scope of action. You know where you want to act and how you want to act and what are the areas you want to tackle or improve. So know what your fears are so that you can act on it. In order to handle your fear, it's good, according to the author, to leave your comfort zone a little bit every day. Of course, don't jump out of your comfort zone. Don't take a plunge 1 kilometer away of your comfort zone. No, you have to go bit by bit, because if you do this plunge out of your comfort zone without preparation, you're going to be traumatized, or you're going to feel frustrated because you're going to have this very negative experience out of your comfort zone. You need to prepare, you need to go step by step according to the author. And this is what I've done as well, and I felt like it was really positive for me to do like this, to go step by step every day and to take measured actions out of my comfort zone. So for instance, in my case, one fear that I had was public speaking. I couldn't do public speaking. Like, if you ask me to speak in front of a crowd, it will not work. My legs are going to start to shake, stomach cramps, I'm going to start sweating, I'm going to have a migraine. I swear I cannot do this. My voice is going to be weak and shaking. This is really, it gives me a panic attack. I'm uncomfortable. This is very scary for me. So, because my day job is a job where I have to speak in front of people, I realized that I had to do something about it. So what I did, I started by speaking to small groups every day, little by little. So one day I'm going to start talking to 3 people. I'm going to do this for 4 weeks, and then I'm going to go up to 5 people for 4 weeks, and then 10 people for 4 weeks, and then I'm going to go to a larger gathering and I'm going to ask a question. I would go to seminars and stuff like this, and I would give myself little goals, such as today I'm going to ask 1 question. Of course, I was not overwhelming myself. I was really looking at what I could do without putting more, frustration on me. And little by little, I became more comfortable at it. It's still a bit difficult for me, but I'm not where I used to be a few years ago, because a few years ago, I just couldn't do it. When you take these little actions, when you're planning, when you prepare yourself to show up and to leave this little prison of fear, Suzanne Jeffers says that this is when you start to take control of your life. This is when you start to get ownership and you have more power over your life. So I'm going to quote from the author, page 32. Page 32. I am talking about power within the self. It is not egomania, but a healthy self-love. And I love this idea of healthy self-love because sometimes, you think about self-love, people will give you, these self-help gurus, they will give you definitions of self-love that I sometimes feel is more harmful than anything else, because it's really self-centered, and we live in a world with 7 billion other people, and we live in communities, so you cannot be just always self-centered. So self-love is important, but you have to also reflect on the impact on other people who live in your family, around you, or in your community. It starts within yourself. You need to love yourself. You need to put yourself at the center, but you also need to be mindful of your impact, the impact of your life, your actions, your behaviors, or anything else on other people, because we're not living here on this earth by ourselves. So you know this example that I gave about my situation with public speaking, she's also giving advice about it on chapter 3. She's giving advice, you know, that little by little, take little steps out of your comfort zone. And again, we don't want you to burn your wings, we don't want you to feel frustrated or whatever. Just go step by step, little by little, out of your comfort zone. An advice that you've probably heard a lot when reading self-help books is take responsibility of your life, take ownership of your life. And Susan Jeffers is saying, okay, we hear this advice a lot, but do we really know what this means? Is this really what we are doing? So she's reasserting the fact that taking responsibility is living a role of victimhood. And I know it's easier said than done. And I can exactly speak about my own experience of staying in this area of victimhood, because I was fearful. I felt like I'm afraid. I feel scared about the better version of myself, so let me just sit and I'm going to allow it to prevent myself to develop, to progress, or to improve. So this was definitely my case. I've been through heavy traumatic experience. I've been through what is called big T trauma. I just felt like this was me. I defined my identity with my trauma at the core. I defined my identity as a victim. But little did I know is that this what prevented me from reaching the better version of myself. So at some point I had to be like, listen girl, you've been through this, but your life is not gonna stop after this. There is so much more you can do, there is so much more you have to see, there is so much more that you want to explore. So don't let what happens to you, don't let this, of course, this stage where I've been a victim define your whole existence. So I started to shift my mindset to realize that yes, there were these 2 moments in my life where I've been a victim of very grave things, but there is so much more in my life. After this, my life continues. I can develop, I can improve. The other side of my identity, of my life, that I can explore. And if I have to be totally honest, I was totally against this idea of you're responsible for what happens to you. I was like, hold on, wait a minute, how is it possible? You know, people get killed, people get raped, wars happen, hunger happens, you know, violence. Some people are just victims of their circumstances. Do not blame yourself, okay? And I feel like this is very important. Sometimes we blame ourselves for things that happen in our life when we are not the one to blame, especially if you're the victim. With the mentality of victim blaming or victim shaming, it's important to remind ourselves that we are not to blame. If you're the victim, you're the victim. I do remember that when I was a teenager, I was a bit boisterous and I was just really comfortable about my appearance. I was comfortable in my own skin. Maybe I was drawing a lot of attention to myself, but I was never promiscuous, you know. Just to tell you, all these things painted me as, you know, not the ideal victim, and I suffered from it a long time. And that's why I didn't really want to talk about what happened to me. I didn't want to really go to justice. You know, the first time that I went to justice, it happened horribly, and the second time I felt like my first bad experience with the legal system, plus the fact that I was constantly painted as not the ideal victim, refrained me from, you know, seeking justice. But just to go back to the book, don't blame yourself. We don't have the control over everything that happened in life. So just give yourself some compassion, some self-compassion. Give yourself some love, some understanding. As bad as things can be, you really have to dig deep within yourself to find the strength to adopt another perspective. I'm not going to let this define me. I'm going to find the strength to rebuild myself. I'm going to find the strength to heal. So of course, at the start for me it was very hard, but then when I started to heal, I realized that I learned other things. I learned that hurt people, generational trauma. I learned about how cycles of abuse can be perpetuated in families or within harmful or toxic value systems. So people go through very difficult things, very traumatic things. It's a work that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. It is hard, but you can have, take ownership on your life and don't let victimhood define you. You're so much more than your trauma. It's possible to live again after your trauma, and don't let it define you. And I know it's easier said than done, but it's possible to heal after trauma. And I really enjoyed this chapter. It totally changed my mindset toward the pain I was feeling at the time and the things I've been through, and again, victimhood. So she's saying it's very important to be aware of your pain, the pain that you're feeling. Why is it important to address the pain or the rage you're feeling? Is because if you don't address it, it's going to manifest itself in physical symptoms. Okay, this is what is called somatization. Now you can learn about it, you can read about it. I could explain to you, but I don't feel like this is my appropriate place because I'm not a doctor. But please read about somatization and read about how the pain that you don't address can express itself with physical symptoms or sometimes illnesses. There are a lot of books about it. I do have a lot of books at home about it. I'm just looking if I have one of them around. No, they are in my bedroom. Pain, emotions, if you don't address it in a healthy way, it can manifest itself with physical symptoms. And one thing that I have realized when I look back at my own pain, my pain was like a prison, and it was really hurting me. And I was starting to have physical symptoms as well. And at some point I decided I had to address my pain, and I decided to turn my pain into power, and I decided to turn my pain into love and into art. And this is when I decided to write more about what I was feeling, just to let it out, just to expel it. It's instead of holding on to it within my body, instead of ruminating, keeping everything within me, I just decided just to let go of it, let it out. I just felt like this is my pain, this is what I feel, but it doesn't belong to me. I don't have to live with it. I just have to let it go. And then I started to write, I started to sing more, and this was really helpful. One thing that is important according to the author, and I 100% agree with that, is you need to pay attention to the way you talk to yourself. You need to be mindful to the way you talk to yourself. Talk to yourself with some love, talk to yourself with some flirt, talk to yourself with some compassion, with some empathy. You deserve some love from you to you, from yourself to yourself. This is so important. And the author has a term for it. She says that sometimes we have this chatterbox in our head. This is this very mean, nasty voice we hear in our head. You start to prepare some work, you have to write a very important article, and this inner voice is telling you you're not gonna make it on time, or what you're writing doesn't make sense, you're not qualified enough, they're not gonna like your paper, and so on. This is this very negative voice which makes you doubt about yourself. And sometimes we need to turn the volume down on this chatterbox, or we need to cut this chatterbox. And I know that sometimes it happens to me. I might be getting dressed up to go out, and my chatterbox is like, girl, you look terrible. What I do is like, I don't have the time for that, you know. Let me just get ready and go out. I just gotta do what I gotta do, and just cut the chatterbox, put some music on so that you can focus on the lyrics. I don't know if you want to listen to your Bible, to the Quran, or just put the news, whatever, so that your chatterbox is down, and then you can focus on something more positive, or just be free of judgment and just get ready to go out. Just write your paper, just do your CV, just go to that interview without this chatterbox sabotaging you. Sabotaging, I don't know how you pronounce the A in this word. I am sorry. If you have to criticize yourself, make sure it's constructive and you don't stay stuck in the negative. Susan Jeffers is also saying that this has a lot to do with the way we have been conditioned as kids. If you've been in a family where your parents used to talk to you very negatively, where they used to limit your abilities, they used to limit your beliefs, is going to have an impact on you. It's up to us to take the steps to re-educate ourselves and to exit these limiting belief system just to reach our higher selves. Again, easier said than done, but it's really important for us to stop feeding ourselves negative thoughts. Negative thoughts can affect your body at a cellular level. So if you imagine the impact of negative thoughts, you can clearly imagine that positive thoughts will have a more positive impact on your body. So it takes nothing just to give you a positive, you know, a positive word every day, or to look at yourself in the mirror and smile at yourself, give yourself a little pep talk, you know, give yourself some love. It's gonna help your body, you know, it's going to release these hormones of happiness that are going to be really helpful for your body. So, you know, give yourself some love. You have nothing to lose, and cut the negative talk. Try it. Cut. So yeah, being positive is important, but we need to make sure that we're not falling into the trap of toxic positivity. I don't like this term, but you just need to make sure that your positivity is not used to mask a feeling of sadness. Okay, make sure you don't use positivity to just, you know, camouflage. How do you say that? Camouflage. Okay, make sure you don't use positivity to camouflage your sadness. Make sure you don't use positivity to mask your sadness, or to stay in denial of what's happening for you mentally in terms of mental health. Your positivity has to be genuine. Okay, the roots of your positivity has to be truth. They have to be in authenticity. You need to feel that you really want to be positive, that you're really positive, and that your mindset is authentic, that you're not playing a role, you're not faking it. You're really positive because this is how you want your life to be. This is the shift you have actively taken for your life. And you know what I found very interesting is that Susan Jeffers is saying this positive mindset gives you energy. It makes you want to show up. It makes you want to live. And it's true that, you know, when you look at the word depression, you have this idea that your pressure is low. So in your body you have this depression, low pressure. And when you don't have this pressure, you don't have this, you know, this little willingness, you know, to carry on with life, to do activities, you don't have the strength, you don't have this energy, you know. The pressure is low, so you feel like there's nothing you can do. And when I was struggling with depression, I was really feeling like this. I was feeling like I couldn't do anything with my body. I did not have the will. It was a weird place where I felt sad, but also in terms of how I was feeling in my body. I feel like there was nothing I could do. I had no energy, and I couldn't find the energy. As I said, I really feel like I did not have the pressure to carry on with life, to push through life. And then she says, when you keep this positive mindset, it gives you more energy in life. You feel like you want to do more stuff. And I feel like, this is just my personal opinion, you have more, you have a lighter sense of self, and then you have more self-confidence, because you realize that everything is not about you. You're the main character of your life, but at the same time, you know, this life is so complex. Take the best out of it, and I feel like it just gives you more self-confidence. And to be fair, I'm not the most self-confident person, but I have confidence in life, and I feel like I'm less fearful. I don't know if it's just about having a positive mindset. I don't believe it's just this, because I feel like other things are factoring in, such as having a supportive environment, having a job or a career that you like, and, you know, doing an active work towards healing. I think a lot of things can contribute to it. And then again, each case is individual, but the author is saying that, you know, adopting this positive mindset can help, and in my case, I agree with her. This is a step. It doesn't mean that everything is going to be cleared, that you're going to be healed, that your life is going to be easy, but this is just a stepping stone that's going to help you. In my case, it did help me. In chapter 11, which is called Feeling the Inner Void, she's talking about the inner self. So what is the higher self? The higher self, Suzanne says, is the place within that is loving, kind, abundant, and joyful. And we need to make sure that we at least try to operate from this place most of the time. Once you take a conscious decision to operate from this place in most of your daily actions, you can definitely start to feel a shift in your life. Thinking about the best parts of yourself, the parts of yourself that don't really get frustrated, who don't get bothered by petty stuff. So these are things that, if you're operating with your higher self, it shouldn't bother you that much. Operating from the higher self, or just having this perspective on focusing on what matters, what feeds your soul, focusing on what nourishes your soul, what brings value to your life, what really has an impact on your life, it helps a lot. When you have this clear vision, life gets easier. You know, the chatterbox that I've mentioned at the beginning, this nasty, annoying, belittling voice that you can hear, this very negative voice. Here we have the higher self, which is more empowering. The higher self is really a place of freedom. You feel good, you feel alive. And to me, the higher self is really recognizing, how can I phrase it, that God is with you all the time, that you have this powerful essence within yourself, that you can be a good person. Let me have a look at all the things that I have highlighted and that I can talk about. Okay, page 182, she's saying it's important to let go of the material. She's saying that often we think that the correction lies in a new mate, house, car, jobs, or whatever. Not so. I believe that what all of us are really searching for is this divine essence within ourselves. I am not a very materialistic person. I don't care that much about materials, so this advice was really easy for me to understand. It is really easy for me to apply this mindset in my life, but I do understand that, you know, the world we live in, it's really easy to believe that we need to get this and this and this and this to be happy, or we need to get these things to be functional or to be like everybody else. But most time it's a thinking that is harmful for our well-being. The author, she's reminding us, and I agree, that happiness comes from within. How you value yourself. Do you have inner peace? Do you feel like you're healed? Do you have meaningful relationships? it is true that happiness comes from within, but it's also true that, you know, the meaningful relationships you have in your life, they're going to add value to your life. Now, in terms of relationships, so she's saying, whoop, negativity is contagious, just like positivity is contagious. That's why it's important to choose your friends wisely. And she's saying this is a very important key for Suzanne. It is choice. You have the choice. You have the choice on the friends you want to have, the lifestyle you want to have, the way you want to eat. Now, I will put a little star sign next to it because, you know, well, actually let me know what you think, because, you know, with this idea you have the choice. I agree with this, but sometimes you don't necessarily have the choice, or if you have the choice, you need to make sacrifices that you're not always ready to make. Okay, and I'm not even saying that you're not willing to make, but sometimes there are some sacrifices that you're not ready or capable to make because of your circumstances. But yeah, it's most about lifestyle. She say you have a choice. You can choose the type of energy you want to have. You can choose the type of mindset you want to have, and you can choose the type of friends you want to keep around. All these little choices is gonna help you to protect your energy and to become the best version of yourself. I know that myself, I'm very sensitive to energies. I absorb energies very easily, so I need a lot of time off by myself to make sure I can balance everything out. I'm doing a lot of work actually to be more, you know, in control of my energy, or to save my energy a bit more. That's something I'm working on. But yeah, protect your energy. This is very important. In terms of friendship, it's important to surround yourself with supportive friends who are genuine in their love for you, because, you know, when you have some friends, you've known them for a long time, we all change, we're all humans, you know, we all want to grow. But some friends are not really happy to see you grow, and in this case, I believe on the first place they were not real friends, probably. But sometimes, you know, you have people you call friends and they're not happy to see you shine. They're not happy to see the best version of yourself, maybe because they feel intimidated, or maybe because it makes them reflect on the work they haven't done yet, or that they don't want to do for whatever reason. I believe that in cases you have to let these people go if they're not your real genuine friends, or in some cases it's okay to love people from a distance, having this love, sustaining the love, but from a distance, because you feel like this person is not ready yet, or this person is projecting on you a type of energy that is detrimental for you. But similarly, go towards people who inspire you. If you see inspirational people, go and talk to them, go and link up with them. It's very important to be with people who are ahead of you sometimes, who can motivate you and who can push you upward. In chapter 8, I also learn about a commitment buddy. It's quite simple, but I never thought about it, and this is such a great idea. You know, when you have people who are on the same wavelength, people who have objectives, goals, and who have, you know, the same mindset as you, they can become your commitment buddy and you can work together. So what you can do, you can have a WhatsApp group, you can share weekly goals or monthly goals, and then you can call each other to check if the other person has reached their goals, or if they have been moving towards reaching their goals. Because, you know, if it's just you, I know for myself, if it's just me, I don't always have the discipline to be accountable. For instance, my YouTube channel, if I don't write it down, or if I don't have my friends or my family reminding me, I will not post. But if you have an accountability buddy, it is so helpful because you have someone supporting you. So this is actually a very, very good idea. make connections and network with people you admire, whether it's in your field or whether you feel like this person has a personality that you like, you feel like you could be besties in real life, you feel like you could enhance each other's lives. Go for it. Don't fear rejection. Rejection is okay. It happens to everyone. You're gonna feel rejected today, so what? Life goes on, you know. For one rejection, you'll have 3 more people who are going to show you love. You never know. So just go for it. And you know, failure, rejection, it happens, but just bounce off it. Easier said than done, but trust me, practice, 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 and at some point you will feel that it's not going to affect you the way it used to affect you when you are not ready to leave your comfort zone, when you are not ready to be delivered from the shackles of fear. A very good advice that I took from the book is about motivation and action. So Susan Jeffers is reminding us that failure is going to happen. Fear is a feeling that everybody is going to feel at some moment. This is part of life. But you have to think hard about what you want. What do you want in life? What is it that you would like to achieve? What is your dream? Think about it. Then you need to work for it. Plan for it, okay? Investigate, get ready, and then go for it. You have your place. There is room for everybody. And even if you fail, it's okay. At least, you know, when you get older, you won't have all these regrets. You'll feel like, at least I have tried. And if you tried your best, it makes you feel even better if you give yourself 100%, if you're committed. That's what she says. Commitment is important. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Nobody said it's going to be easy. But at least go for it. Try for it. Even if you fail, at least you've tried. And you know, when you're going to fail, maybe your failure is going to bring you to a beautiful place of success too. So it requires a lot of preparation. You have to take measured steps. You know, it's not like in the movies. Leave your job one day, take all your savings and go to California. Life works a bit differently in most cases. Of course, some people have these beautiful stories, but in most cases, it's a bit different. What I believe in is that once you think about your dreams, when you put it into paper, once you're clear, you have clarity of the hard work you have to put towards your goals, where you have clarity of who you want to be, where you want to be, when you understand the field you want to be in, the industry you want to be in, go for it. You have nothing to lose. I do remember that before publishing my book, I was actually remembering the title, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I felt like, let me publish my book, and even if it's a failure, at least it comes from a place of authenticity. At least I have given my best, and at least I've enjoyed the process. I've committed to it. It was a dream for me, and I did it, and I'm still alive. You know, I did it, and whatever people feel about it, I'm very happy about it. This is a success for me. So this is just an example of showing you that it doesn't matter if you're afraid. Just master your fear, work for it, prepare yourself, and go. And you know, even if you don't succeed, it adds value to your life, richness to your life. All these experiences, whether you're successful or not, it brings value to your life in the end. So she's actually saying, oh, let me find the page. Give me a few seconds and I'm gonna find it. Found it. She's saying, you're not a failure if you don't make it. You're a success because you try. And this is very important to have this mindset. In life, we don't always succeed. You know, we fail sometimes. This is part of life. But something that I've learned from this book is the fact that, you know, sometimes failure is necessary, because when you fail, it's a signal that you were not doing the right thing, or maybe this choice was not meant for you. So you have to take failures as mini lessons. And once you realize this, when you adopt this perspective, if you use each failure as an opportunity to correct your route, this is really helping you in life. And I'm not gonna lie, you know, sometimes failure stings. Failure can hurt you, it can make you cry, make you feel disappointed, heartbroken. It can make you feel really bad, but you have to think about, what is this failure teaching me? How can I adapt my direction toward my objectives for next time? What is the lesson in this failure? And also on the topic of goals and failure, the author is also saying that we are human beings, so we change every day, we adapt every day, and just because we grow as individuals, the goal that we have today might be different to the goal that we will have in 10 years time. The goal that I had 5 years ago might not be suitable for me anymore. It's important to commit to your goal, but at the same time you have to keep in mind that sometimes we change as a person, sometimes circumstances change, and you might have to reassess your goals and to change them. So give yourself some space, some flexibility. It is really important. So this was a very good lesson in the book as well. There is a very, very good advice in chapter 8 in terms of having balance in your life. If I had to summarize, the advice is, don't put your eggs in the same basket in terms of goals and in terms of what makes you happy in life. You have a very, very good exercise. It's page, let me see, page 131. How can I explain it? You have a square divided in 9 cases, and in these 9 cases you have to write things that matter to you, things that make you happy, areas in your life where you have some type of fulfillment. If you feel like your whole life is about your career, your money, it's not gonna work, baby. You know, you need to have a rich life. This is how you get healthy. Your mental health can be supported in this case, but don't center your life around one thing. Okay, if this thing don't work, what do you have next? That's where, you know, you are at risk of falling into depression or feeling like your life has no sense. Make sure life is rich, full, that if there is something that goes wrong, you have all these other things that you can cling to, that can help you keep your head out of the water. You need balance. This is very, very important. From my experience, I realized that this simple exercise helped me to see that I actually had a life which was full and balanced. It helped me give more meaning to my life. It made me more aware of the beauty of life and all the opportunities in life, and that, you know, life is beautiful. At some point I felt like I was not doing much in life, that I was a failure. You know the cage, you know the hamster cage, and they have this wheel where they're running on the wheel. I would call my mother at least at the very least once a week, crying and telling her, I feel like a hamster perpetually running on its wheel. And then I did this exercise and I realized, no, actually there are things that you can do, but stop being afraid. This exercise, the authors say that this is a very good visualization exercise, and it makes you realize that even if you feel failure in one of these areas, even if you feel some type of grief in one of these areas, at least you have all these other areas you can cling to that can help you staying afloat. So this is really, really helpful. It did help me a lot. It kind of empowers you because it makes you realize that you have so many fields of action and that you can improve your own life, you can grow, and you can bring a contribution to the world. It's about the things that you can do in your family, in your community, how you help a friend, how you help a neighbor. Just feeling that you can bring a positive contribution is good for the world, and it's also good for yourself. You just feel positive, you know. A lot of very interesting and important life lessons or life advice in chapter 10, which is choosing love and trust, is to let go of the scarcity mindset, according to the author, and just be a giver. Give without expecting in return. And in my case, I love giving. I just love giving. I just love taking care of people. I just love giving my love and attention. But be very careful. You need to have boundaries. Make sure that while you give, you're not hurting yourself. You're not depleting yourself. You're not hurting yourself. Make sure you have the boundaries. If you do this in a very balanced way, and again, without expecting nothing in return, this makes you feel so good, so free, so liberated, and without ego, in the sense that you don't do this for yourself, you don't do this for people to see you in a good way, but you do this because you feel like this is a good thing to do. I mean, you don't do it for the way people perceive you. It just makes you feel good as a human. It makes you feel human. I think that's the word. It makes you feel human. And I feel like it's a way to show gratitude for life as well, because look at the world, look at the trees, the flowers, the bees, the food, the sky, the oxygen we're breathing. All of this is given to us freely when we look at it, and it's just a way to give back, in my perspective, in my opinion. Sometimes I just feel like, look at the world I live in for free, theoretically, because I do pay bills and so on and whatever, and it's like a way to give back. It's just, to me, it's just the natural cycle of life. To me, that's my perspective. That's just the way I see it. That's just how giving and charity is important for me, and doing it with leaving the ego out of it, because it's not about me, it's not about my action, but it's just about being human, in my opinion. The author is saying very important things about giving time, giving material, giving thanks, giving love, showing and giving gratitude. How many times did you say thank you for your parents, if you have healthy, loving parents, and if your parents were not abusive, of course? How many times did you say thank you to your friends? How many times have you shown gratitude? It shouldn't hurt to say thank you. It shouldn't be something that tickles your ego. She's saying, when we give from a place of love rather than from a place of expectation, more usually comes back to us than we could have ever imagined. And I know that in most monotheist religions, it's encouraged to give charity, and God will give you more that you've given, whether it's in material or whether it's in blessing. Now, I don't feel like I've reached level 100 of gratitude and inner peace, but I just, just feeling like you're in the path now. Just feeling like, oh, so this is inner peace, this is gratitude. I'm just starting now, and I just want to stay in this path. I just feel like this is a beautiful journey. Not an easy one, but it's just beautiful, enlightening, uplifting, and just a beautiful journey altogether. By the end of this book, I already felt much better. I mean, this book is Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. So by the end of this book, I was already starting to think about all the things I was willing to do. I was starting to make a list of goals. Now again, me saying this, it all seems really easy, it all seems really beautiful, wonderful, wow, but in real life it's not easy, especially if you're someone which is quite critical with yourself, if you've been through a traumatic experience, if you had negative parents, or if you have a lot of insecurities you have never addressed. It is not easy. So it requires work, it requires dedication, and just go step by step. Even if you don't see or feel improvement straight away, don't panic, because development, self-improvement, growth, healing, it takes time. It's a journey. It's going to take time. Just be reassured that if you're committed and you're doing your best, you can be sure that you're doing progress every day. You might not see 1 week later, you might not see 2 months later, but you will see it eventually, and at some point you will look back at your life, you will look back at the person you were 3 years ago, and you're gonna be like, wow, that's some work that I've done. I've made quite a journey, I've improved, and this is absolutely where I am right now. This is definitely where I am right now. If I look back at the woman I was 5 years ago, I'm like, wow, I've done some work, and I did not see it during the process, during the journey, but looking back I see it, and it just makes me so happy to see that it's possible to heal. Had you told me 15 years ago that it's possible to heal from what I've been through, I wouldn't believe it. But now that I see it, I'm just like so grateful, and I just feel like I just want to show people, I just want to show people who have been through rape, sexual abuse, neglect, self-esteem issues, self-confidence issues, depression. I just want to show them it's possible to heal. It is. Okay, it takes time, but it is. And when you start to see that you have healed some areas within yourself, when you start to see that you're growing, oh my god, you feel so good. When you see that hope is real, you feel good, and you just want to give back. You just want to give your hand to other people and just be like, just hold my hand, let me help you to get there too. Without ego, honestly, without ego, but just because it's just like falling in love with life again, and this feeling is so good that you just want other people to feel the same. You just want other people to feel this type of love. Now, don't get me wrong, if you look at my life today, my life is not perfect. There are some things that I wish I could have today, but I just feel satisfied. I just feel like in love with life, although I know life is difficult. I know tragedies still happen. I know things are hard, but I just feel like there are so many dimensions to life, and I just feel good. Don't know how to explain it. Life is hard. My life today is not perfect, but I just have this feeling of inner peace, maybe. Inner peace, gratitude. I think that's the word. Inner peace and gratitude. And I just feel like I want other people to feel like this, because this is such a beautiful place to be as a human being. And I just feel like this is part of the essence of our experience as human. I feel like this is where we are actually trying to get as humans or as a society. And I'm not 100% at a level of inner peace and gratitude, but I just feel like I'm in the right path. Yeah. So this is such a beautiful thing. One important advice at the end of the book is, okay, it's wonderful. Now you're ready for it. Now you're ready to take control over your fears. But one thing you have to remember is don't be impatient. Because, if you take this journey towards self-development and growth, it's going to take time. It's not going to come overnight. So don't be impatient. The challenge is to be committed to your goals and your dreams. It's going to take time, so be patient. And also regarding the higher self, staying with the higher self, meaning operating with the higher self conscientiously every day. A journey is not always linear. Sometimes you're going to zigzag, sometimes it's going to go up and down, sometimes you're going to feel a lot of motivation, sometimes you're going to feel a bit low, sometimes you're going to feel like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Give yourself the fuel. The fuel is mostly going to be with your mindset. Keep the mindset, be dedicated toward your goal, and just be clear with the meaning and the value you want to add to your life. Before reading this book, my mindset previously my mindset before was a mindset of fear. So I was just feeling like, okay, I'm just gonna sit down and let life pass me by because I've been hurt in the past. I don't want to be hurt anymore. Life is dangerous. Just let me wait until time go by. And it was not good. It was at a time I was at a place where 18, 19 years old, you know, you're still at the end of your teenage years, I never took active steps towards healing. And I was already suffering from depression. So just add these two together, plus my mindset, it was really a vicious cycle. I did not know how to get out of it. And I just feel like in my case, reading these books, it was just like little doors that I was opening. I really paid attention to what they were saying, and I was just saying, you know, what could be applied in my case. So once I started to do the work consciously and I started to talk to my mother, I started to develop a willingness to heal, things started to get better. And I just feel like this is the least I could hope for you. I just hope and pray that if you're at a place where you're feeling helpless, all I can do is hope and pray that you can get out of it. I just hope and pray that you can find the tools, the supports, and the strength within yourself to get out of it. There are so many resources, and I just, you know, this YouTube channel is just me using my readings and explaining how these books have helped me. Don't hesitate to seek medical support. Don't hesitate to seek external help if you don't feel good. But you know, it's all love. I just want everybody to heal, and I just want to show that it is possible to heal. So with these words, I just want to send you a lot of love. And again, this book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, from Susan Jeffers. I can only speak in my case, but this book, just really beautiful. Maybe because the author touches on a lot of subjects, she gives practical advice, and also she is a psychologist. Maybe all of these are the reasons why this book was so good to me and for me. And I just hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, I'm not a doctor, not a clinician. I'm just a girl who loves life, who loves reading, a girl who is happy with her healing journey. So just let me know what you think about the book if you read it. Let me know what you think about the content of the video. What are your fears? How did you get over your fears? And please let me know if my English accent is getting better. Much love, guys. Bye.